Here's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, you gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, Munson here with the Expats Portugal show. How are you, dear friend, this morning? How was your weekend? It is Monday, Migration Monday, of course, and Gilda will be here from around 9 o'clock this morning, but I don't think she's going to be here for the whole show. Do you remember last week when she was here? She said, oh, yeah, wedding, with a kind of naughty look on her face, really, about the wedding preparations. I think a bit of a what we would call in the UK a hen do. Is that an international global standard? But I think the ladies are going out and about this morning to celebrate the not the betrothal, of course, but the actual marriage of one of their colleagues. And isn't it interesting? I mean, this is cross cultural, isn't it? Trans global, quite a popular phenomenon around the world. I'm getting married. I know what I'll do. I'll get drunk. Why is that? Why is that? But anyway, we'll ask Gilda all about that and who is getting married and what they will do in anticipation of said ceremony and happy life together, of course, which is the aim of such things. Is that still the case? Talking of which, we celebrate the anniversary of our friends John and Pam. Lovely video sent in from John and Pam. So thank you for that, you too. And we'll play that later on. And of course, before 9 o'clock this morning, we've got simply named Slug this morning. I can't believe it. I nearly overlooked him. Look, bon dia, Gumpers. Feliz segunda a todos. Como foi? Soy fin semana. How was your weekend? Happy Monday to you from the Slug, who will be here. Look at him. That's him drinking beer with me, isn't it, in his YouTube picture? How lovely. What a lovely profile pic, our little selfie that we took last week. Thank you, James. Thoughts from the Redwoods then coming up between now and 9 o'clock. We'll probably bring him on around 22 because we never have enough time to unload the mighty mind of the Slug, which sounds like it should be the name of his autobiography. For the mighty mind of the Slug. Well, thank you for doing that, James. That makes it so much easier for me. But I don't know. I think you're getting the last laugh there somehow with your rebellious, mischievous sense of humor and all of that. God Squad, Ian Turner, Coach Turner's in this morning. Actually, it was T-Duck who was in first. He's been busy this morning, of course, as usual, from 6:21, making his mark on the chat at 6:21. That's alpha male behavior, isn't it? That's a little alpha male dog tinkling on the tree to say I'm the boss around here, isn't it? If ever there was a digital equivalent of such behavior. Fantastic. T-Duck, I still want your ducks round the other way for some reason. It's I want to read them from left to right and they're going against the flow there. But maybe that's another little rebellion. Have we got a riot of rebels here in this community? I think we might have. And that's why those ducks are facing from right to left. Or so it seems to me. Anyway, thank you, T-Duck, for everything you've done already this morning. And we're only a few minutes in. The God Squad tip of the day is Coach Turner saying, I did a lot of walking yesterday at a classic car event, and we have some documentary evidence of that, or documentary, if you're Welsh. I did a lot of walking yesterday at a classic car event, so I can have a lazy day today. As I said before, it's all about balance. Two things there then on the God Squad tip of the day. I think one of them, the first thing to say is, well, the obvious thing that the coach has said there is it's about balance, okay? So, yeah, one day you might do a load, next day take it easy, and you enjoy the contrast. But do you see what he did there? And this is one of the cars that he saw yesterday, and it is a Lancia. Is that how to say it? Lancia is how some people say it in the UK. I think Lancia might be how some others say it, like Lucia and Lancia. And that is what does he say? That's the Lancia. I thought it was a Delta because of its wedge shape. But no, it is actually spotted at Silverstone yesterday. And Coach Turner says, I thought the viewers might enjoy it. Well, Doug at least. And I don't think Doug certainly will. Oh, nice number plate as well. SLR 589W whiskey at the end there in Alitalia colours. And it's the Stratos, which was also an aftershave, wasn't it? Do you remember those great 70s aftershaves like Stratos and blue, not blue velvet, denim and high karate? I've made myself laugh, made myself cough thinking about 70s aftershaves and colognes, and that's because they used to make you cough. You know, they was talking on Friday about the uncle you might have had, like Uncle Frank, with the underlying sense of fun. He would have had probably quite a lot of aftershave on. He might have had a medallion and a hairy chest. He might have had double denim going on as well. So he might have an unbuttoned denim shirt with, denim, the mark of a man. Yes, those fantastic aftershaves that would make you cough as a child when you're sort of what would we, your metaphorical Uncle Frank, or archetypal, it's an archetype, isn't it? The archetypal Uncle Frank with his underlying sense of fun would come into the room, reeking of cigarette smoke, and probably alcohol, and a little bit of 70s aftershave as well. Anyway, where was I? We were talking about the Lancia Stratos here, designed as a rally car and very successful for a while. And I said to the coach, looks to me like Sophia Loren in a tracksuit. Look at those lovely eyes. Isn't she beautiful? So there you go, the Lancia Stratos. And Coach Turner is a bit of a design man, and he really likes that. And he also put us on to, well, actually, I haven't resolved that fully, have I? It's all about balance. But what Coach Turner did there, of course, was go to something he enjoyed. And is that a Triumph Stag I see in the background there? Could be, couldn't it? A convertible Triumph Stag, possibly. Anyway, go to something you enjoy, like a car rally, where you have to walk for miles, but not even notice it. Because, I mean, isn't that more fun than jogging or running? Because there's actually something to look at. I know you can run in nature and in the forest, which is really nice. But the gym, I don't know, it evades me. I can't compute why some people would want to go into a sweaty room full of other sweaty people with no trees or any nature and run and do stuff like that, when you could actually go walking for miles at an event like this. And we have loads of them, of course, don't we, in Portugal? And there's one coming up, which is, let me bring it onto the screen for you so you can see it. It is a great big automobile gathering. Come on, share button. What's up with you this morning? Bit slow this morning. How was your weekend, share button? I think you've probably had quite an exertion. You're a bit slow this morning, if you don't mind me saying. So race calendar then. This is where we found the autodromoalgarve.com. And again, brought to our attention by the Coach Turner. Let me take off the Sophia Loren in a tracksuit picture. Loads of chat and comments. Thank you very much for that this morning. We'll get around to those as well. And we have Gilda, of course. I see a D7 migration question in as well. And hopefully we'll be able to answer that for you this morning. But yes, before we get there, and before we get to James, it's nearly James time. And I still haven't finished talking about the first couple of things here. This being the Autodromo Internacional Algarve, the Algarve Classic Festival, the biggest classic car event in the Iberian Peninsula, will take place once again at Autodromo Internacional de Algarve from the 28th to the 30th of October. So a little way to go, 62 days, in fact, and 9 hours. They're counting it down. The festival will host classic championships, which will attract the best cars and drivers of the speciality to AIA. This unique event that celebrates all the success and elegance of historic cars is the perfect weekend for those who are in love with classic cars. And you'll get some exercise, I suspect, walking around is it called a campground still? Well, you can walk around it in a camp kind of way, can't you? And make it a campground for your wonderful weekend of the 28th to the 30th of October. Thank you for that, Coach Turner. That's a really good one for our events diary. If you want to, you could stick down the events diary for us. Oh, Connie's in. Antonio F. Spoke to Joao F last night. That was such a pleasure talking to Joao F. I thought I was talking to a British professor on the telephone. What a legend he is. Stephen Wells is in. Jean is in. The Campions are here this morning. Good news with you, the Campions. Lee, belated birthday. Best to you, Lee. Hope you had a great birthday over the weekend. Gemini is here as well. Moaz, of course. T-Duck, we've said hello to before. And Eagle, who's a double millionaire, certainly when it comes to points on learning the Portuguese. Okay, so let's just resolve Coach Turner's input this morning. Bon dia, Gumpers, if you like car racing but won't pay the silly F1 prices, what is a silly F1 price, by the way? How much does it cost to go see F1? I can't recommend the classic racing events, or I can recommend them. I thought he was going to say I can't recommend them enough. Lots of interesting stuff, no crowds, and cheap tickets. I imagine that will be pretty good value here in Portugal. The Algarve Classic Car Festival then on at the end of October. Details on the interweb, and we've given you that link there this morning as well. Before we go to James, and let's start our deep thinking process, deep thought of the day. The strongest people find the courage and caring to help others, even if they are going through their own storm. Roy T. Binnett. Amen to that. James just put his hand up to the camera there. I thought he was bearing witness to the beauty and wisdom of that comment there. Feel free to do that at home. Raise a hand if you're feeling it. I'm feeling it this morning. And who doesn't like to feel it first thing in the morning? Portuguese saying of the day: De grandes ceias estão as sepulturas cheias. With great suppers, the graves are full. Oh, gluttony kills more than the sword. Oh, my word. And we'll come back to the dad jokes later on because, folks, it's already 20 to 9, which means that we should go and contemplate by those mighty trees that we love in California. We know him by his little swing at the end there. Good morning to you. What's going on this morning? I fear the worst. I've got Simply James on the screen and I've got Simply Slug in the comments. What are you up to?
Is that confusing you now? That was my plan.
Yes, it's worked. It's worked. How are you? How is Eddie said? How was your weekend, James?
Well, to be perfectly honest and transparent, not so great. Last night I got hit. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. I think I got COVID. I didn't take the test because I just treated it as if I did. So I don't need to prove that I do or don't. I'll just make sure that I'm not infecting anybody. So I've been isolating. The first few days were like barely any problem at all. But last night a fever hit me big time, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it today. But this morning things are considerably better. So it all worked itself out.
You trooper. Well, I do commiserate. You do sound not quite 100%, and really appreciate the effort you've made to be here this morning, and the measures you're taking to isolate yourself and get yourself through this. What are you doing? You hydrating and just at home in the crib and just thinking even more than you normally do?
Yeah, I don't know about thinking more. I don't know if that's possible, but yeah, I'm noticing I've got a lot of phlegm in my throat this morning that I did not have yesterday. So forever changing, which is actually right spot on, because for some reason I was thinking about change over the course of the weekend and thought, well, that might be an interesting thing to talk about.
Yes, about change and transformation. Okay, well, let's go for it. So what's been on your mind in this even more reflective state that you might have been in than usual?
Well, I was in thinking about change, and this is not a new thought. Change is a part of life. I mean, it just is life. You could almost use them interchangeably. It's inevitable. It's constant. There's no avoiding it. And so the question then becomes, what control do I have over what's changing in my life? Some changes I control. You know, I chose to come to Portugal, for instance. That's a huge change, and I chose that. It's something I wanted. This infection that I've had over the weekend was not a choice I made. It was also a change. I didn't want it, but so what do I do with that? I accept that it is what it is. I ride the course out. I pay attention. I take care of myself. I do the things I need to do. But the bottom line ultimately is we can't escape change. And it was sort of a joke. I said, we change our minds, we change our clothes. Everything changes. Yes. So another point about change, is that it has been shown that all change creates stress. So even if we call it positive change, for instance, deciding I want this new adventure in Portugal and I'm going to make that change, well, that creates stress as much as what we would call negative change, getting fired from a job or something along that line. So either way, it's creating stress. So it's important to keep that in mind as we look at self-care. Life is constantly changing. Now, the sun rising and setting during the day is not going to be a stressor, I don't think. It's change, but it's not personal change.
It actually can be. To be fair, it can be, can't it? I mean, I get what you're saying. It is natural and right. But for those who aren't ready to get out of bed and those who aren't ready to go to bed, it does present that clunk that I think you're talking about.
True, yeah. And, as the weather changes, some of us like rain, some of us don't, that kind of thing. So those changes, I guess the point is that those I would consider to be minor stressors, it is something that's just part of living a day. But the larger stressors are the things that happen in our lives personally. As I was looking at this idea of change, and I know it's not, well, I'll just say it. I thought of the old Birds song, "Turn, Turn, Turn," which was from a Bible verse about how the season, for every season, there's a reason, all those things. And I don't think that's technically about change, but about how that there's a time for everything. But it still involves change, and that came to mind. And it's a song I haven't thought about in a long time. I didn't know when it first came out. It was based on I think it's an Old Testament poem of some sort. So.
Well, I'm completely with you on this, and I think what that does for me, for every season, and this idea of change and transformation is that it's inescapable, is it not? And in that song, I think they talk about how for every season there is a change. So in some ways we can anticipate change as well, can't we? And also not avoid it. Because one of the problems I think of our modern culture is that we would just like to live a kind of flatline life of ease and convenience from start to finish without facing too much trouble. And that's why there's like stress management, and that's why people don't want to face difficult things. And I understand that it's a human instinct, isn't it, to avoid trouble. But in trouble there will be, sounding like Yoda for a minute. And we've also eradicated some of the ceremonies and cultural constructs, I think, or AKA rites of passage, that make some of that stuff easier. Would you agree? So, like the transition from childhood to adulthood is not really marked in any meaningful way. I mean, even when I was a kid, at least you got a plastic key sprayed in silver with 18 or 21 on it to somehow suggest that, okay, you're on your own now. Does anyone get anything now to say, okay, you're an adult now, apart from all the bills, your own place, and the stresses that go with that? We don't mark it in a necessarily proactive or dynamic or positive way, do we?
Well, there are cultures and religions that do that specifically. I mean, the Jewish religion does that for their boys and girls. I know that there are certain, and I can't be specific, but I know there are certain native traditions around coming of age. And I think that's important because especially at that time in life, there's a change, and the confusion is, am I a child or am I an adult? Where am I? And that's the challenge of adolescence, is how do I fit in? So I think something more than an 18th birthday in the United States, which is the age of majority, is not really, it's not a ritual per se. It's something we do every year on a birthday. I used to think about this. The only thing that we know we have completed in American culture is when we graduate from high school.
Yes, that's one, isn't it?
We're done. We got through this challenge called public or any education, and now we're right around age of majority. So that's sort of a demarcation of something that's complete. And then there's a graduation ceremony that says, hey, you did that. You got through 4 years of high school, and here's your diploma. So there's something in that creates completion that we don't often, at least in modern Western culture. I think you're right. We don't have very many traditions that specifically give us some kind of ritual or recognition of a change that is a part of all our lives.
Well, sorry, I kind of distracted you and took you off in a direction of rites of passage, and so I'm marking these things. But I suspect I might have interrupted your flow on managing change management, which I suspect is the backbone of what you're sharing with us today.
Well, yeah, and I think that the key there is recognizing that all change is stress. So any strategies that we have, any applications to relieving stress are important to keep in mind as things change. I don't remember statistically what it was. I just remember reading about it years ago, that there's a lag between experiencing stress and experiencing a reduction in quality of health. So if we're having a stressful time now, some period of time, 3 months or 6 months later, is when we're going to feel that in our physical health. So it's important to understand that change, whether it's something we desire or not, whether it's something we call positive or negative, is something that if we choose to remain as healthy as possible, then it's something we want to be mindful of and do what we do. For me, it's as I've said again and again, it's always deep breathing, intentional, and gratitude. Finding a way to relax, getting out in nature, those kinds of things. I don't know that we can or would choose to do that constantly, since life is constant change, but in the bigger moments, making a move to Portugal, or the opposite, deciding to go that it didn't work and moving back, that might be a more difficult, stressful change. But change in any situation, just being aware of how much of a toll might this take on my health, and let me address it now so that it doesn't knock me down later.
Yeah, well said. And I think the key thing that I've heard this morning from you is that all change is stressful. Because I can be a bit of I have been, and less so these days, I think, but more of a sort of Pollyanna positive thinker. It's like, yeah, I welcome stress and change, but I think that can overplay and over egg things a little bit, and not necessarily fully understand and account for and adjust to what's going on, which can come at a cost, I think.
Yeah, well, if you truly embrace it and find joy in it, then it's going to have much less negative impact on you than if it's a drag,
Yeah.
something you're trying to avoid it or run away from it. I did want to go back just a little bit to what you said about the tendency, and I agree with you that we have this idea that we would like things to remain more constant, more on an even keel. But in truth, I think all of us, or well, maybe not all, but most of us would find that a boring life after a while. Like it just would never change. Mark Twain wrote a short story with a long title called "Extract from Captain Stormfield's Visit to Heaven," and it's about this old sea captain who's off to heaven, but he's writing in first person about his experience, like he's writing in a diary or something. But when he arrives in the equivalent of the American heaven, because heaven is, well, I'm just surprised Mark Twain wasn't tarred and feathered after he wrote that, because if you read it, he doesn't say it outright, but everybody goes to heaven. The Native Americans, bad guys, the good guys, everyone goes to heaven. But he never says everyone goes. He just tells you who's going, and it turns out, oh, that's everyone, which is his style. But in the American style heaven, when the captain finally gets there, now this is a guy who's lived a dynamic life as a sea captain. He's arriving in heaven with this idea of a harp and a Bible, and sitting on a cloud and just resting for eternity. And basically, and the style is so great. This is what Mark Twain is known for, is really getting the character in his writing style. And he says, after about a day of that, I was ready to, just put down my harp and my Bible. And he says, the farther I walked, the more I saw people unloading their loads and the new people taking it on. So it's like, enough of that. I want something more adventurous, more exciting. It's a really interesting read, but it definitely addresses that note of, if nothing changes, like forever, the concept of eternity sitting on a cloud, meditating, is not what we imagine it might be when we're longing for consistency. I think really what we're longing for is maybe less change and less dynamic change. Maybe it's those extreme shifts that really wear us out, that we just say, oh, I'm tired of this, please.
We've had biblical references today. I mean, perhaps it's like sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. I think it's, as you say, it's unrealistic to expect no change or plot twists, but a manageable amount and responded to in a robust and healthy way with one's own resources and with the help of friends seems like how life could and should be, if I may should on everybody for a moment there. So thank you for ever, you've been called the coach this morning. You are our mental coach. We've got a few greetings coming in and people sympathizing with how you're feeling. Moaz, I feel bad and I wish you the best. Says Moaz. And do you feel bad because he feels bad, or you feel bad as well, Moaz? There, whichever way, get well soon, both of you.
Please don't waste time feeling bad for me. I'm good.
I feel a song coming on. Bon dia from the middle of the night. What happened there? Is your chair not?
Yes, my chair just dropped down on me.
Gave way.
Now there's an unexpected change.
And you handled it beautifully, I've got to say. So bon dia from the middle of the night in New Mexico. That sounds very poetic, doesn't it? I hope James will be well soon. And as well as an hola bon dia kids from Portimao. Thank you for those videos. I think we'll share those tomorrow. Absolutely beautiful. Bob Yonker's our guest tomorrow and playing some of his own compositions. Looking forward to talking to Bob tomorrow, by the way, Bob Yonker. And a bon dia from Michelle as well. We're talking about you, me and Joao F. We're talking about you, The Eagle says, get well, stay strong, coach. The mental coach, not the body coach, this morning. Although they're not mutually exclusive, are they? And totally agree on change, says Aviva as well. Oh, T-Duck giving Norm some advice. That's fantastic. Keep up with the helping each other in the chat, everybody. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for being here. I'm not sure I thank you often enough. Of all the multitudinous, infinite things you could be doing, you're here this morning, and I thank you for it. Ashman, Yoris James, well, from Antonio F as well. And so, yeah, lots of love and greetings coming in for you. And Desert Dweller Aviva saying, I also get the stress related to change. I'm neck deep in it. D7 appointment in 4 weeks. So, yeah, I mean, you made a specific reference to moving here, and that's why we like to have you here. You've been through this process, and I think you can speak on it with some authority. Well, and from a number of angles, James, as well. So we do have you in mind if you are moving to Portugal and you're going through these processes. Join us every Monday morning with some thoughts from the Redwoods. I agree with James. Change is stressful. I was so stressed until I got my Dubai ID, and then it's on to something else, isn't it? Not necessarily for you, Moaz, but that, the pattern of human life. My strategies are obviously not working, and that's why I'm up now. Lol. I'm sure they're working fine. It's great to have you here this morning. And yeah, on that note of the bird,
a great strategy.
To everything there is a season. Just a quick biblical reading then. Ecclesiastes 3, chapters 1 to verses 1 to 8. Pete Seeger, apparently taking. Was Pete Seeger in the birds? I'm not sure what this means, but it's from
I don't know.
Right, okay. Well, there's a very interesting website called Bible as Music. They say the devil's got the best tunes, but check this out. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, rolling stones probably in this context, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, all you huggers, a time, I'm adding things by the way, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend, what a great word, and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. There you go. That's it for now. But what a fantastic reference this morning. And also what was on my mind as we approached 9 o'clock with Gilda P joining us. I watched an amazing movie, James, which I think I mentioned to you in our recent correspondence. Sounds very old-fashioned, doesn't it? Dear sir, it is with great admiration that I contact you, and may I draw to your attention a film adventure I watched recently. It was He Won't Get Far On
Regarding our recent correspondence.
Regarding your recent correspondence. Yes, He Won't Get Far on Foot. Amazing film with Joaquin Phoenix, and he's dealing with his alcohol issues. And of course, the Celtic prayer that is used, Alcoholics Anonymous, comes up in our conversation, doesn't it? The Serenity prayer. It's a long one. It's 9 o'clock, so I won't read the whole thing, but maybe this is appropriate to what we've been talking about this morning. The AA prayer: God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Is that a mic drop on your section this morning, James?
That was a perfect conclusion to today. That was great.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Stick around, won't you? Because we have a very important
will.
we have a very important lady about to join us, who I think is on important business today that we're going to find out about in just a moment.
It's Gilda P on GMP every Monday morning. Her approach to self is oh so fine and always reassuring. It's Gilda P on GMP every Monday morning.
Do. Here she is, everybody.
Hello.
Woo!
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Very deep thoughts you are having.
Oh yes, indeed. That's what we do. That's what we do.
From the
How great
Redwoods.
that you clarified about the link of the Alcoholism Anonymous. I thought it was it was something for me. It was a message for me.
No. It wasn't. Not at all. It wasn't aimed at anybody, but if the cap fits, I guess.
Is she any concern?
I don't know. These holidays were a bit.
They're not over
bit
yet,
too
are
much.
they? They're not over yet. And I think, am I right in thinking you might be having 1 or 2 drinks today? Gilda, you mentioned last week that it might be a brief one today. Bear that in mind, everybody. If you've got migration questions, get them in quick, because I think there is some partying going on.
Yes.
There is no way that, I thought end of August, that's it. The planes are emptier now coming into Portugal, but the Portuguese people themselves are still partying. And I'm seeing loads of things happening in September as well. We're definitely going to need October and November and probably all of the winter to recover from this. And you are making your contribution to it today, Gilda, with your girlfriends today. What's going on?
Yes, because our Carl from A is getting married.
Oh my goodness! How fantastic is that? I don't know which jingle to play. May her married life be beautiful, long and wonderful. So tell us more, please. And you're going out on a do you call it a hen do here in Portugal?
Oh, what is that?
Oh, obviously not. A hen do in the UK when the girls go out before the wedding, which is a curious thing anyway. It's quite disgusting, I've got to say. And there's no other word for it in the UK. I'm not saying you're going to do this, but they go out and they get very drunk. And I don't know, they might get chained to a lamppost or find themselves in various states of undress or in fancy dress.
Yeah.
Here.
Of course, it happens in Portugal also, but we don't have age for that anymore.
You don't have what for it?
We don't have age for that anymore.
Oh, okay. What's it called in Portuguese? That particular night out, or sometimes it's a whole weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes it is, but it's for younger people.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. So for Carla,
it's like how do you translate it into English? It's like the saying goodbye to the single life.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The bachelors and whatever they're called. I can't. I'm struggling to find the right words. Having encapsulated it as hen do. Okay, so she is saying goodbye to the single life. She getting married today?
Yes.
That's fantastic. So do send it from our whole community here. Please send it our fondest and warmest and most loving congratulations and best wishes for the future. So are you actually going out drinking now before the day, or is that the drinking going to be? Oh, I see. Okay, so we've done the drinking before the today's ceremony, but there's going to be more today. Have I got this right now?
No, because the ceremony it's going to be at 1 o'clock, and then everybody is going to have lunch, and then it's the party.
The party, that's the bit. Okay, so this picture that you sent in to me, was this part of the preamble? Then this is from an earlier event. What's happening here, Gilda?
So this was from Porto Santo, and as you know, in Madeira, what is the typical drink in Madeira? You don't know?
Fruit punch.
Yeah.
Punch. Yes.
So this is a mix of a little bit of all the fruits you can find here: mint, strawberry, kiwi, and passion fruit.
How lovely. And the idea is they are not scented candles, are they? They are to be drunk.
Yeah, and this is the proof of it.
Look at all those empty glasses.
Oh my word! A good time was had by all there in Madeira. And are these some lovely pictures from Madeira as well? Looks like we've got a moon mission today. That could be a moon landing. Where are we now, Gilda? What's this?
Yes, this is in the same place, Porto Santo, but yeah.
When you went out to get a bit of fresh air.
Yeah. The next day.
And there's plenty of it there in Madeira. Look at it. It's so beautiful, isn't it? So holidays, it sounds to me like your holidays have concluded, but back to go to a wedding today. And as I said, all the best to Carla. She is known and loved by our community, so do give her our best. And so a Portuguese wedding, pretty similar to what I'm used to, I guess, in the UK. So a ceremony, reception, that sort of thing, and speeches. Anything that we need to know about if we go to a Portuguese wedding? Should we be lucky enough to be invited to one? Dress up. Buy a nice present and then have a great party and dance. What else do we need to know as foreigners?
Well, usually when you get the invitation, you get a note about the dress code.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You know, Sanderduck is saying that Carla is the best because, finally he got his driver license.
Was he saying? Do you think he was saying this 2 months ago? I don't know. I think he was, to be fair. Bachelorette and bachelor and spinsters. These are some of the words I was looking for earlier on. But yeah, no, I think T-Duck, to be fair, has been a big fan. He's not held her personally responsible. But isn't it great that she can go to her wedding knowing that his driving license has been sorted out?
Yes, she was very happy. She was really very happy.
All right, so forgive me, I interrupted you. So the dress code will be on the invitation if you're going to a Portuguese wedding. Yeah.
Yes.
Presents, is there a present list? Do you take something with you?
Sometimes there is a present list. If there isn't a present list, you don't take a present.
Okay, all right.
You just give money.
Give money.
There is
a safe.
The bank account. No, right. There is the bank account, and you transfer money.
Yeah.
And usually, what you do is that more or less you would transfer the money. That is the cost of the expense of your presence in the wedding.
Okay, all right. So
you help the people to pay the wedding.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it, in this day and age to do that? Okay, so you would do a bank transfer. You wouldn't take a little envelope and tuck it, as your.
No, the envelope you can also do it.
Oh, can you? Okay, and who should that be given to? Because you don't want to be giving that to the bride or the groom, do you?
No, usually there is someone that takes care of that.
Yeah, a purser or a bursar or somebody like that, who's a mother-in-law, probably. I suspect somebody sensible, not your Uncle Frank, your Frank at the wedding. Okay, so that's the dress code, the present. How long are we expecting? I mean, how many days should we not eat for before going to? I suspect food is involved as well as drink, right? You're going to go hungry, or you should arrive hungry.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And are there
should arrive.
traditional typical things for the? It's called a wedding breakfast, isn't it? Whatever time of day it is, I believe it's called. When I've been MCs at weddings, we've referred to it as the wedding breakfast, haven't we? As the meal that they have. What's typical and traditional in Portugal?
You know what? It depends, because sometimes when the wedding is in the morning and is in the church, which is not going to be the case, we know that it's going to take long. So you go to the groom or to the bride's house, parents' house, and they have a table with lots of food, so you can eat before you go to the church. So that is like the breakfast.
Oh, okay. So you eat before as well as after. Okay. So snacks are petiscos are available at a buffet.
And lots of drink also. So sometimes
obviously.
you go to the church and
a little bit tipsy and merry already. Okay. So the drinking and chip in, James, by the way, if there's anything you'd like to know about these curious. An excellent approach, I have to say, to getting married. So the ceremony, are these very long ceremonies? Some of us as children might remember sitting in churches dressed in sailors' outfits or kilts or or dressed up like a little monkey or something, taken along by our parents to a wedding. And we sat there for hours and hours in a cold. It won't be a cold church in Portugal, will it? What's it like? Are the ceremonies quite applied? I'll use that word.
No, if it is in the church, it takes time and it's usually very boring.
Oh, okay. All right. So normal then. Yeah. People losing the will to live, people desperate to have a cigarette, those sorts of things. People, you know what? A good strategy with that is if you offer to look after the kids, you can just, if the kids are playing up a bit, I've just got to take the children outside. Sorry. But no, you don't want to be missing. You don't want to be missing all the vows and lovely things like that. So it could take a little bit of a long time at the church. And then what? We're going to get on the transport afterwards to be taken to the reception.
Party.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And that's the best part.
Not the vows.
They put up the whole wedding.
Here we go. It's grub time. Okay.
Hey boys, free food. Let's go.
Free food. People you've never met before. People who probably shouldn't be there. All that sort of thing that you get at a wedding reception. And the food there is there a traditional twist on that with wedding food here in Portugal?
No, it depends. Well, usually there is always bacalhau.
Bacalhau, got to be bacalhau. Yeah.
Got to be bacalhau.
Done in some way or other. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And then the speeches, presumably speeches. Who makes the speeches in Portugal?
Usually the parents or the how I don't know the name in English. The
best man.
The best man.
Yeah.
Best man. Okay, that's important, is it? So there are maids of honor and there is the best man. Does the best man do some jokes? And do they say naughty things about? Okay,
yes.
So
yes.
Excellent. Just as it should be.
I did at my brother's wedding.
You were best man to your brother, were you, James?
Yes.
Excellent stuff. Excellent. Okay.
You see how much I play on the show. Imagine me at a wedding with the spotlight.
Absolutely. It's a few thoughts from the Redwoods thrown in there for good measure. So we got the best man and the parents. Does the bride and groom, do they say anything, or do they just
yes
oh, so they'll say something as well. And do they do the handshaking? Do they queue up and everybody comes past and gives them a kiss and a hug?
No, they actually go around the tables.
Oh, so that's a good idea, isn't it? That's a very good idea. So they'll go around the tables during the reception, and then the full-on dancing and partying will begin.
No. Wait.
Oh, no. Wait a minute. Back up.
So there is the meal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then after the meal, they put like a table.
Yeah.
With cheese and more sweets and more foods.
Yeah.
because if the meal was not enough, you have to eat more. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So then there is the
Just in case.
dance.
Yeah, just in case
Yeah,
anybody is not full up by that stage. Okay,
just
excellent.
in case.
Very
Yeah.
thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
Yeah. And then there is the dancing. What happened to James? Ah,
Don't
yeah,
know.
he's back.
He probably needed to sneeze in quite a violent and unhygienic way. So that was very thoughtful. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah. And then there is the dance. And of course, after the dance, you have to eat again. So they come with
Yes.
another table
Yeah.
and with seafood, and then you eat again.
Of course. Seafood on this occasion.
Yeah,
What could
seafood at the
possibly
end
go
of
wrong?
the night.
Yeah, okay. So is there a first dance often for the bride and groom? Do they, or the happy couple by this point?
No, they do a first dance. Yeah.
They do a first dance and everyone pitches in, everyone gets hungry again, thirsty. So there's obviously needs to be more drinking and more food, and on we go. And then the quaint phrase used in the UK when I've been involved in such things is carriages at midnight. Do the bride and groom disappear at any stage, or do they stay right to the bitter end of the party?
No, they stay at the end of the party.
And might they go straight off on their honeymoon at that point with a car with strewn with graffiti, tin cans and confetti and stuff like that, and rice in their hair?
They used to, but now they don't do that anymore.
Okay, just go to the hotel room and then
Yeah.
go on their honeymoon in 5 years' time when they've saved up enough money to do it. Or 20 years time. Well,
sometimes they also one of the presents. Sometimes they also put the name of the agents, so you can go and give the present, the money to the agency to pay the honeymoon.
Oh, travel agent.
Mm-hmm.
This is very good, very thoughtful, very thoughtful. This is lovely. I thoroughly approve of the Portuguese way of getting wed. Anything else then, Gilda? Because obviously we were talking about migration this morning, but we needed that huge cultural insight there. Good to know, because I think when you're a foreigner and you get invited to a wedding, there are two things going on, I would say. One is like you're so delighted, aren't you? You have been invited into the inner chamber of life, I think, once you get invited to a wedding. But then it's like, oh my goodness, what do I do? How do I behave at this thing? So thank you very much for sharing that with us on how to behave. Anything else we should know about the quirks of marriage here, of going to a wedding ceremony and marriage celebration and reception here in Portugal?
No, just don't bring a present, because people are not used to that anymore.
Okay.
And go with some, like you said, don't eat for 2 days before.
And also
and have lots of fun.
And maybe take 2 days off after. It would be another.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little bit of a preparation. Okay, Gilda, that's fantastic. We do have some migration questions. James, I think it's at this point we say goodbye to you and look forward to your arrival again next week before 9 o'clock.
As
And
well.
you get well soon, my friend. Get well soon. Take it easy.
I'm on the recovery side. I can feel it.
All right.
The worst is over. It's just getting.
I got late. What do you have, James?
He's a bit sniffly.
I didn't test for COVID, but I think I got COVID. But
Oh.
I'm isolating for 10 days, so it doesn't really matter to me whether I prove it or not. It's like I'm sick. I'll just pretend I have COVID, and that way everyone will be safe.
Okay, and we'll if you need anything, you know where we are. We'll just leave it outside the door.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Get well.
No,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye
Cheers,
bye.
James. Bye for now. There he goes into his convalescence and taking it easy, kicking back and recovering there in Ericeira. Thank you so much to James Holley. Our thoughts from the Redwoods Slug every Monday morning at around 20 to 9. So, Gilda, I think you've got to go quite soon, haven't you? To get ready for the wedding. Oh, the dress code, you mentioned that, didn't you? But is this a dressy one today? Have you got a very nice outfit that you've especially chosen, or is it more of a casual, easygoing sort of thing?
More or less.
Bit of both.
Not very, because it's, when it's during the day, it's not supposed to be with the long dress, and it's not supposed to be very, very dressy.
Okay. Are you going to wear a hat? I just need to ask
No.
one more question. No, so no. Oh, you've made a bit of a face there. Not hats then. Women don't wear hats to Portuguese
No.
weddings necessarily. Okay, interesting. All right. Okay, so on to the migration business. No, not onto the migration business, because Moaz says, I was the best man for my brother. I memorized a few sentences in Afrikaans, one of the languages in South Africa, but I think I screwed it up because I heard people laughing. They're meant to laugh at a best man speech. No problem there, Moaz. They might still be laughing for that matter. And get well, James from Suze as well. Okay, let's go. Let's scroll all the way back then, and let's go to. Well, actually, while I'm doing that, while I'm finding the questions that have come in this morning, any news from the world of migration?
Yes, actually, there are some news.
Even in August, you delight us every week with news from the migration front, as it were. Go on.
You know, the law changes that we've been talking about. So the regulations came out on the 25th of August.
Yes. Okay. All right.
So I didn't have time to read them all because there are a lot of changes. Here Trevor is saying, but on next Monday we are going to talk about the most relevant changes that can affect our members.
Okay, all right. So the law has been put into practice, I suppose.
Yes.
Would be a way of putting it, wouldn't it? And so there you go, Trevor. Thank you for that mention of the law right there. For those who want to look it up, that there it is in actual detail there. 18.
We are going. Trevor, we are going to talk about it next Monday.
Okay, that's brilliant. All right. We first met Gilda on Skype over 2 years ago. We used all of their services and could not be happier. Yeah, it was amazing navigating the minefield. We've now been living in Lisbon for 16 months. Cheers, T-Duck. That's a lovely validation.
Yeah, thank you.
Gilda and the team, and obviously no hard feelings with the driving license business. It's all behind us, and I'm so glad Carla was able to go to the altar with that behind her and successfully resolved. We are happy that Carolina from EI will be assisting us with Seth today. Trevor, good luck with that and your meeting at Seth. Bon dia, Gilda and Carl. Seth completed last Wednesday. Thanks to EI, Christina, Anabi, Carolina, and everyone in between. Muito obrigado.
Oh,
almost one of these. Take that, Seth. Okay, brilliant stuff. There were some other questions. And any other news then when it comes to migration? Are things moving? Have we been able to find out what's going on in Dubai and New Delhi, or any updates from around the world, Gilda?
No, not really.
Oh, okay then. What's this? I changed my name, the name of my... Oh, it's Maxine, the truth of it all. That sounds interesting. We'd like to know more about that. Eucalyptus inhalation can really help. I drank clay wat for a month. Oh, that's probably clay water, isn't it? Pulls out the nasty toxins, viruses, etc. Charcoal does the same. Charcoal has many benefits, doesn't it? That James may benefit from, particularly if he's been on the old feijoada. There, yes, eucalyptus inhalations. Waiting for my Millennium account to reflect my deposit of the Portuguese minimum wage requirement. Last on the checklist. That's a tense moment, isn't it, Gilda? When you send money over and it hasn't quite appeared yet and it's disappeared into cyberspace for a little while. But of course, you've sorted out Millennium. That's all okay again now, isn't it? Apart from it having to go through their compliance department. Sounds like you want to say something about that.
Yes, they are being quite slowly with it.
Okay. What with how they're processing accounts at Millennium?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, bear with. It shouldn't take long for money to show up, though. If the account is officially opened, it shouldn't take long for the money to show up. I would say a matter of hours at the most, but obviously that will depend.
No, maybe 1 or 2 days.
Really, that's how long some transfers are taking, isn't it? 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
Where the money appears to go missing or between accounts and can take 1 to 2 days in some cases. Well, thank you, because I might have worried people there saying it should only take a few hours. It can take up to a couple of days in Gilda's experience, and she has the experience that we need to refer to, and not mine in these matters and her expertise. I also get the stress related to change. I'm neck deep in it. D7 appointment in 4 weeks. So what's your angle on this, Gilda? People who are going through the D7 process, it is a time of change. James covered that well on that side of how to manage it. But what would you add to that? Because you've seen many people, I suspect, in a stressed state going through the D7 visa process. What's your advice to them?
Well, I understand that it's a change, and that most of the times people get stressed, but they need to go. They need to be a little bit more relaxed and rational, and they need to look. Yes, it's true. They need to look at the checklist, and they need to look at the documents, and they need to be and they need to feel very secured and very safe about what they are going to face, because if they are safe and they feel confident about it, they can control the stress part.
Okay, I think you're right. I mean, as James was saying, stress is inevitable, and as is change, and how those two are twins almost, how they go together. But you're right. You provide a plan, don't you? And preparation and planning, I think, are the way to practically deal with all of those thoughts going around in your mind. Know what to do next, right? And take the necessary action. So you break it down for people, and as much as is possible, you minimize the stress in the process.
Yes.
There you go. All right. We heard, I think it was from Arshad earlier on. I imagine you've got a very simple answer to this question. How can I get a D7 visa here on the Expats Portugal show on Migration Monday? You're looking at the solution. Arshad there, Arshad Prince, great name. And yes, reach out. Let me just put the link to our business directory and specifically to Gilda and team. I mean, do you want to add anything to that very general question there, Gilda?
Yes, you need to have passive income and some savings, because you need to prove to the Portuguese authorities that you can be self-sufficient, and you don't need the Portuguese government to sustain you in Portugal.
Okay, there you go, Arshad. That's for you, and there's the link for you to get in touch with. Hey, Chris B is here, who loves to say "hey" on a Monday morning. Raja also in. Good morning, Carl and Gilda. Is there a law that a consulate, and I think he's got one in he or she, I beg your pardon, I don't know, Raja, which that is, but you have a particular consulate in mind. New Delhi. Are you listening? Cannot hold the passport of an applicant for more than 90 days. Can one apply to the consulate to take back the passport? Well, yes. I mean, you would hope so, wouldn't you, Gilda? Can you get your passport back if they go past a certain time limit?
Yes, you can take the passport back. You may say that because the passport is a document that is a personal document, and you can always say that you need the passport to travel to other countries.
There you go. So it's not. I mean, maybe it is a law, but I mean, they should practically be able to help you with that in that regard. And that is an unreasonable time, isn't it, to hold on to somebody's passport?
Yeah.
So there you go, G. Raj. I hope that helps. Chris, hello, Chris. Great to see you this morning. Chris Tully, 3D mapping and visuals, which gives you some idea what Chris gets up to in the daytime. Dubai and Abu Dhabi at a standstill, mate. Testing our new levels of patience. Have you heard this, Gilda, as well? Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I mean, they basically shut themselves down, haven't they? Apart from this one of them with this premium service that they're trying to offer to people. What have you heard about Dubai and Abu Dhabi?
Yes, I don't know why this is happening. It seems that they don't want people to get out of there.
Okay, so you think that Dubai and Abu Dhabi are in on that and in delaying people leaving the country?
Yes.
Okay, wow, interesting.
I feel that.
That's a sense you get. Okay, understood. Hi, will the new law affect any current or future appeals if any D7 gets rejected in the next few weeks? Can we still appeal, or we can't appeal based on the old law? Very good question, Sabrina Lily. And this is often what happens, isn't it? The law changes and people think to themselves, oh my word, it was a bit like when it moved from you could use an Airbnb to now you can't. Some of the people in the middle ground of that when the law changed were quite stressed about that, weren't they, Gilda? So what happens is the old law applicable to the time of your application?
Sabrine, as I haven't read the whole law yet, but as far as I know, there aren't big changes as far as it concerns to the D7 visa.
Okay, so there you go, Sabrina Lily. But on that more general point, Gilda, which law is applied to you? The law that was in place at the time you applied, or do all new laws update current application processes?
No, if you are going to apply now, it's going to be the new law.
And
If
you
you
apply,
already applied, it's going to be the old law.
excellent, good to know. All right, there you go, Sabrina Lily. I think that was probably at the bottom of your question. Let us know if you need to know more on this Migration Monday. Gilda not with us for much longer this morning. She needs to go and celebrate the wedding of Carla. What's the name of the groom of her husband to be? Gilda, can we give his name out?
Pedro.
Pedro. So Carla and Pedro, all the very best to you, our dear friends, from all of us Gumpers and community here. Bank-to-bank transfers do take a few days. Sorry if I upset anyone saying that earlier on, that it should only take a few hours. It should only take a few hours. It should take seconds, because we live in a digital electronic age of banking. But they might like to hold on to it for a little while and do stuff with it while you're waiting for those 2 days. So thank you very much, Elle, for saying that. And you say transfer-wise is much quicker. Somebody else, Wise is great, easy, cheap, and fast, but not as good as Spartan FX, I should say. Truth of it all. And yeah, tell us more about what you do at Truth of it all there. Joao F has got to go do work. Sorry, people have to go now. Duty awaits me. Farewell, everyone. I don't know if you heard and if you've gone already, Joao F, but it was so good speaking to you last night when we caught up on the phone. Pound slipping a little this morning at 117, but expected to rise when the UK gets a new Prime Minister next week. My goodness. If you transfer with Wise during the week, it only takes a few minutes. Thank you, T-Duck. And of course, yes, they're off at the weekends. It is in the account. Just need the August statement. Okay, so no worries there for Jean on that. Question for Gilda then, possibly the last one this morning, re-asking in case doesn't find it. Tech Cowgirl is asking if NIFs and bank accounts can still be done remotely. I didn't see that. Thank you for asking. Darren, can you answer that question, please, Gilda?
Yes, they can.
Okay. We've also have a question from Norm earlier on. I'm not sure if I can find it right now, but Norm. Oh, and the Campions actually we'll go to first. The Campions are wondering if anyone can help with finding them somewhere to live. Over to you, Gilda.
Yes, of course.
Kate, could you be more specific with that?
Yes, you can. We can. I don't know if you want just a house to present for the D7 process, or if you want us to find a place for you to actually live in when you come to Portugal. But either way, we can help you.
I think not, but either way they can help. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So there's the question. Bon dia Alegria, Mike and Maggie here, packed up and ready to go now. Great news, Mike and Maggie. Fantastic to track your journey. Looking for a rental from end of September. T2, okay? Short or long term, anywhere in Portugal. That's a pretty wide brief, isn't it? So that we can explore the country. Ideas. Yes, start with Casa Portuguesa. Casa Portuguesa. That is Gilda's company this morning. I got there in the end. Connie saying Bon dia Gumpers as well, just in case we didn't do that earlier on. And Norm, final question then for you. What do I do with my household furniture while we rent for a year to look for a house to purchase? Can household goods be stored in Portugal? Now, what's behind this question also, Gilda, is not wanting to pay customs duty on bringing things into Portugal. Can you say something about that? Storage of furniture, best optimum times for bringing in your household goods so that you don't pay customs duty on that.
Well, I think there are two separated questions, right? One is to put the furniture of the house that they will rent.
Yep.
Right. And yes, they can storage. There are storage where they can do it. And the other one is to bring the goods without paying taxes, VAT. But for that, they need to have the resident permit. They need to change the tax address to Portugal. And then when they are tax residents in Portugal, they can bring the goods and show that they live here, so they won't have to pay VAT on their goods.
There you go. Did Gilda just say no big changes? People are hanging on your every word, and they're concerned about this new law. But finally, before you go, did you say no big changes to the D7 in the new law? Did you say that?
Yes, I did say that, but we will have a session about this next Monday because I need to read it carefully.
Okay, and so we'll have a great big old update on that next Monday when the hangovers have worn off. Sorry, just another quickie here. They keep coming in. Our residence permit expires in April. When should we contact AEI for the renewal?
February.
February, there you go. So a couple of months before, so that you can get your ducks in a row, T-Duck. One more time then, for Carla, for Pedro, all the very best to you. Please pass that on from us. And thank you for giving us an insight into what goes on at a Portuguese wedding. Or this is the pre-celebration. More of that maybe later on. If you're for data, look at that. Okay, Gilda, thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely afternoon. And we look forward to the big update next Monday when we see you
next
again.
Monday. Next
all
Monday.
the very best to you. All right, cheers.
Thank
Bye for
you.
now.
Bye-bye.
It's Gilda P on GMP every Monday morning. Her approach to self is oh so fine and always reassuring. It's Gilda P on GMP every Monday morning.
Okay, we're here for another 24 minutes or so this morning. I'm not the man to answer migration questions. Come back again for the big update on the law changes. But I think, Aviva, don't add that to your stress. Don't worry. You'll be in good hands with Gilda if you're working with Gilda, and you'll learn more about what the changes mean next Monday when she joins us again for next Migration Monday. Just rolling up my sleeves here for the rest of the show. Got a few things to share with you, updates of what people have been up to at the weekend. Do let me know if there's any questions you have, more general questions. Stick them in the chat. You know, this is a very helpful community here. I'll be delighted to help you with anything that's going on for you. And of course, James will return again with his thoughts from the Redwoods next Monday as well. Tomorrow, as I said, Bob Yonker joins us. He writes the most beautiful, inspirational music. We'll be listening to a few tunes from his new album. And I think we've got that long-awaited vegan special. Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday will be vegan flavored, if that makes sense. So yes, hopefully that's all coming together. Bob tomorrow and a vegan special on Wednesday. I think whatever happens, we'll talk veganistic on Wednesday. I'm just trying to line up a bit of a panel or certainly some specialist expert guests on that, so that you know what you're dealing with if you want to explore being a vegan or are vegan, or even if you want to avoid vegan restaurants. That would be the place to be on Wednesday. Victoria, thank you. This to come as well, not necessarily today. Brilliant videos of Benfica last week. Superb videos, it would seem, of the Espectáculo Equestre Cavalgar from the final night of the Fatasil Lagoa, the equestrian show down there in the Algarve. Beautiful videos. Thank you so much. Share those tomorrow. Beautiful dancing, horse, dressage performance, and stunt riders as well. Fantastic. Looking forward to sharing those with you this week. Yes, talking of happy married life, and that's what we're wishing Carla and Pedro, of course. We had a message in from John and Pam over the weekend celebrating, I think, their 34th. How cool is that? Their 34th wedding anniversary. Let's just confirm that here.
Bom dia, alegria, Gumpers, from John and Pam on our 34th anniversary.
What a wonderful part of the world. They're in the United States there. They love Portugal. They're on their way here. And I think we've got a still of that fantastic background where they were sending their best to us and right back at them for their 34th wedding anniversary. Look at that. That's a beautiful landscape, isn't it? Over there. I think possibly Colorado, unless they've gone on tour. And I did ask, I like to be nosy. When people tell me they've been married for that long, I like to find out what their secret is. And for John and Pam there, let me just find exactly what he said, because it was very beautiful, the message that came back to me as I was being nosy and prying there. I'm going to have to search through WhatsApp. Because you send me so many wonderful things. Thank you, everybody, for that. Let me see. John, I'm searching for, and his I said, what's your secret? 34. Oh, actually, incidentally, that picture, let me just put that back on the screen so you know exactly where that, well, not where it was, but where they were located, not the name of the place, but actually to put it into perspective, 3,800 meters, 12,500 feet above sea level. As another clue to where they are. And I say, good morning, Carl. Video and pic to share with you and the Gumpers. What's your secret? I say to them, less oxygen, lol. Oh, you mean about our wedded bliss? High altitude equals bluer skies. No, about how long, or what's your secret for a successful marriage, John? 34 years, he says. Secret is being best friends too. I don't just love, I like her too. Isn't that beautiful? There's a little bit of advice possibly for Carla and Pedro, unsolicited, but what a lovely sentiment there. Thank you very much for sending that in to us, John and Pam. Enjoy the rest of your trip around wherever that is. Dad jokes. I think we need to have a bit of a dad joke warning here, don't we? Where are we? Where is the dad joke warning? Can't find it at the moment. I do beg your pardon. But dad jokes are coming up right now. Thank you very much for these, T-Duck. I've got my rim shot ready. That's the main thing. And these came in early. T-Duck signed in this morning at 20:06. He is our associate and virtual producer. Dear old T-Duck, thank you again for all that you do for the show. I am trying to find I'm trying to find your dad jokes, but I'm distracted for a moment because Suze do not buy a bottle of Vinho Verde at $14 today plus tax in Vancouver. So you didn't buy, you just saw that. Well, I'm not surprised if it was $14 plus tax. When we're paying I think at the moment I found a really nice $2.99 or $3.99 bottle of Vinho Verde that's on special at the moment, and very good it is too. So really sorry to hear that, Suze. I never made it. Della Burka says, oh, there's some real good nuggets here. We'll come back to the dad jokes. I never made it to my first anniversary twice, says Della Burka. Wow. And 3.5 hours until the Artemis launches. You know what? I'm going to actually scroll back. I'm going to work through these just to make sure I'm not missing anything this morning, especially the dad jokes. I've got a couple of my own this morning, I've got to say. But there are a lot of comments. There's a lot of chat this morning. Thank you for everybody for being so giving and talkative. Yes, that moon mission. Let's find out more about that. And, okay. Dad jokes. There's your dad joke warning. It's on the screen now. I race cars, but I never win. The cars are always faster. I love the way the earth rotates. It really makes my day. Pedigree. That is good. Very good. And the third of your trio this morning, Holy Trinity of dad jokes. What do you get when you cross a centipede with a parrot? A good old good one, a walkie-talkie. Hey, thank you very much for that. We've had a Will Rogers quote of the day. Oh, and Deagle with a weather report. Perhaps I'll do the weather for the rest of the week as well. I've got so much to share with you in these last 15 minutes or so. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers, from a dry, warm, going to be 21 degrees in Belfast. Spent the weekend painting, just waiting for the carpet fitters to arrive at 10 o'clock. Hall, stairs and landing. A very detailed report from the McKillen household, Casa McKillen there. I also kept up with my 15 minutes each day in Memrise Learning Portuguese. I got my 2 million points up to his 2nd million. He's a double millionaire, is Deagle, certainly when it comes to learning Portuguese. I'm decent reading stuff, 70% understand listening if spoken slowly, 50 to 60% of my speaking in public is 10%. Okay, I think I understand with you there. I mean, you're getting a lot of the technicals, aren't you, Deagle? You're understanding a lot more, but I don't suppose you get the chance to practice very much Portuguese in Belfast. Is there a Portuguese cafe or restaurant in Belfast, I wonder? More dad jokes, though. This from you as well, Deagle. What do you call a deer with no eyes? A no idea. Now, you might think you've heard that, but have you heard this bit of that joke? Dad, joke. What do you call a deer with no legs? Still, so it's got no eyes and no legs. Still no idea. Yes, thank you very much, everybody. Don't forget to smash that like button. Cheers for that reminder, T-Duck. Right, NASA then scheduled to launch the Artemis 1, which does sound like a 70s aftershave. Artemis for men. Artemis 1 to the moon today. The window for launch here in Portugal time is 1:30 to 3:30. So I suspect you'll be able to watch that on newly arrived CNN that is in Portugal now. So you might want to watch it for that. Be careful because it can hurt your eyes and ears with some of the other things they share. Finally, one name only. That's referring to James, isn't it? And bon dia alegria, Mike and Maggie here. Look at this. So glad to hear that news, Mike and Maggie. And T-Duck coming to your assistance there. I always suggest Lisbon as the best starting point. But then I'm biased. Yes, because I would suggest the Silver Coast. I'd like to meet you and have you as neighbours, Mike and Maggie. It's been so long. It's time we met up. Jean's wishing us a bon dia todos, a feliz segunda-feira this morning. And Antonio was in early as well. Bon dia a todos from Antonio F. And others responding to you. Jean, for example, Anna Slug, Stephen Wells also a lovely picture of you on social media enjoying a super bock over the weekend there, Stephen Wells. Very good profile pic, I have to say. Jean will be watching the Artemis launch this morning. Is it Artemis or Artemis? I'm going to go with Artemis this morning, just about T-4 hours. Isn't it great? T-10 and counting. But T-4 hours and 23 minutes at the time of writing for Jean there. Very good. Now, my criticism of gyms, I love a gym, says Deagle, or a swim. It's being disciplined. Start to committing to something. I'm a planner, then carry out things type of person. Fair enough. No, I understand it. It does depend. I mean, it's focus, isn't it, in a gym and in a swimming pool? Nothing else to do but the thing you've gone there to do. So fair enough. Norm, did we help you out this morning? And Glick making his or her feelings hurt about COVID there. And so good to have you, Desert Dweller, in the middle of the night, even deeper. We're moving towards the early hours, aren't we? And dawn in New Mexico now. And thank you for all your best wishes to both Carla and to James the Slug this morning. Very good. Well done, everybody. And yeah, Victoria reminding us of the Espectacular Equestre Cavalgave. Nicely done there, Cavalgave, the horse show in the Algarve. We'll bring you those in the coming days, as well as that video from Francis. I fluffed that, didn't I, on Friday, on Feel Good Friday last week, when we had a Frankless Feel Good Friday, when we were nominating legends for the Gumper Hall of Fame. And we of course, Frank is an Algarve legend. This legendary stuff as well. Victoria's an Algarve legend, of course, as well. But the Espectacular and the Espectacular Equestre Cavalgave, I will show you the wonderful videos that she sent me, and the missing video from Francis on saving water saving tips. A great video from Francis. I have now got that right, and I will share it this week, I think on probably tomorrow or Wednesday. Joao F has come and gone since I've been rabbiting on here. And Michelle is here as well. Great to see you. And Chris B. Hey, bon dia from Chris B. And Michelle in as well. My dear friend Michelle, yesterday evening I was talking to Carl and specifically asked if he knew anything about you. Not in a bad way. Not in a nosy way. We just missed you. We hadn't seen you for a little while, Michelle. So thanks, dear James, she says to that. Daryl, Tech Cowboy and Tech Cowgirl are in this morning, joining late. But hey, morning, James. Morning to you both. And thank you for your health tips, the truth of it all. I so want to go to that YouTube. Sounds right up my alley, does that, the truth of it all? Interested to see more and hear more over there. Maxine, be well, Slug. If you have Rona, Boston's, whatever you take for your immune health. What does that mean? Even when mild, extra care and rest is needed. Yes, of course, whenever you're feeling under the weather for any reason. Of course, take it easy. Don't push yourself unnecessarily. There was a morning Gilda that I think I missed there. Thank you for that, Darren. And Messi or Ronaldo? A big question this morning. I think you know the answer you're going to get on a Chafan on this show. Messi or Ronaldo, indeed. Ronaldo all the way. And if we do get round to looking at some of the news stories, news items, articles, we see that Ronaldo is trying to get more, Cristiano, number 7, is trying to get more privacy in his Lisbon apartment. But there are some very interesting news items that I would like to share with you. I'd like to do the news and the weather before we go today. And thank you for that advice, Maxine, to James. Question for Gilda. I think we covered that. Yes, you can get a NIF and a bank account remotely still, so no worries there. And a night out is the noitada. Okay, that's a hen night kind of vibe we're talking about there. The noitada before the wedding. Thank you very much for that, Antonio F. Appreciate that. Yeah, bachelors and spinsters. Spinsters, such a old-fashioned sounding word, isn't it? Okay, so Nubianette, what's this? I was doing some late night cooking reluctantly. I had to gut anchovies. Well, someone's got to do it, haven't I? I hope everybody who you prepared the food for was grateful. Those colors, beautiful. Yes, and I suspect they tasted pretty good as well. Let's have a bit more of a look at that booze. And I see I've got other pictures to share that I've forgotten about. Look at that, a rainbow. Pride drinks there almost, aren't they? Those colors, beautiful. Michelle, appreciating that. Thanks for sharing, Gilda, with those. Yes, a rainbow of the drink there. Carla is the best. Yes, we had all the wonderful wonderful tributes to Carla, didn't we? And EI this morning. Thank you for those. The moonshot looks like it's missing Kirk and a Gorn. What? I don't know what that means. Perhaps you could explain. Hey, we're on at the same time. Super big congratulations on getting your driver's license. Big deal for T-Duck. I haven't seen it yet. I want to hold it in my own hand when we meet, T-Duck. Do you transfer the money with an IBAN number? There you go. You're getting into the spirit of things on the European side here, Jim. Yes, you probably do. Or you might be able to do it by, probably in Portugal, you'd probably be able to do it by MB Way, sending money to the newlyweds. Fantastic. Cindy B's in. Bon dia, Gumpers. Feliz segunda-feira. How are you, Cindy B? And little JC there. Lovely to see that picture of you celebrating International Dog Day. Didn't get one of Peggy Pooper and Jimmy Chew up, actually. What's this? Don't lose it. Yes, that driving license. We must get together and celebrate this with a good meal, says Joao F to T-Duck. Don't lose it. Bye, lovelies. Dinner is ready. She got to go. And thank you for that. That was lovely. Your wonderful words about EI. Sarah's in Stubble as well. Yes, I have a real license, he says. They even transferred my motorcycle license. Well, I can imagine you on a motorbike. I really can. Yeah, I can see you. A duck on a motorbike there in Lisbon, possibly. Or are your motorbiking days over, T-Duck? A Gumper is not so much geography, but a lifestyle. Well said. Yes, Suze, thank you for that. And we're happy that Carolina from EI will be assisting us with SEFTA. Well, good luck with that, Trevor. And Shannon, all the best to you with your appointment. And Andrew and Steph D. Is it Andrew? Andrew. And Steph D. Delighted again as well with EI and their service. That's fantastic. Wonderful news there. Thank you, everybody, for all your kind words about EI. What's this, Sarah? To Joao, excellent here. Thanks for asking. Lisbon band Rosa Mimosa e Sus Mariposas played here on Saturday. Just the best. There's a name to look out for then. Rosa Mimosa and Sus Mariposas. That sounds good. I do like a Portuguese playlist recommendation. Thank you very much. And good to hear that your money's in the right place there. Jean, we're nearly there. We're nearly catching up fully with the chat. Don't like to miss anything. Raj is here. Bon dia todos and Jim White. Gilda, you and Christina helped us reduce our stress immensely. Thank you. So there you go. It works, everybody. What's this about Wise here? We used Wise to transfer dollars to the UK as British pounds and paid the fee within an hour. Worked beautifully when you had bank details for both banks inside the UK. Wise to their bank. Okay, yeah, Wise is good in certain occasions. Spartan Sarah we spoke to. Spartan Sarah of Spartan we spoke to last Thursday. The first to say Wise are good in certain situations, but the feedback seemed to be that Spartan are much better when it comes to getting the best deal on the currency, and Wise fees are going up. That's just what people were saying. That's just what they were saying. That was so funny. They don't want people to get out. Is that true, do you think? I wonder. And we answered your question, G. Raja, and thanks for that, Chris. Yeah, don't want to let people out of there. That makes a lot of sense. It's the Hotel California. You can check in, but you can't leave. My goodness. So Sarah Smith, bon dia, Gilda. If I have a social security pension and rental income from my house, my question is whether I'm better off also having rental income from a commercial property or better. Sorry, Della. Either send that directly for her attention, not today, of course, or perhaps come back next Monday. Della, sorry I missed that. Back in my day, says Suze, had I known about the D7, I would have gone to Portugal starting from scratch again. Oh, sorry about that, Suze, that you didn't get to see that. Or you weren't aware of it at the time. Go Carl, says George Carl, in a good way, I think. Smart FX or Tor FX, other currency exchanges there by the sound of it. Thanks, Gilda. Hearts and more hearts to you. So number 2 is to have 250,000 euros in the bank. Don't think you need that much, Della, but I'm not the expert. And sorry, Alfred, I'm not the expert. Hi, Carl, still waiting for my approval for the D7, though it is 2 months now, hoping for the positive in Nigeria. Fingers crossed for you, Alfred tomorrow. Not a question there, thankfully. Just just a little bit of an update from you. And of course, everything crossed for you, Alfred. Hopefully that will come through soon for you so that you can be on your way to Portugal here. T-Duck, we sorted your question, which is good to know. And sorry, G-Raj, a follow-up question. I missed a lot this morning and we didn't have Gilda for the full show, so I do apologize. Maxine, you're the Truth of It All channel, spirituality, healing childhood trauma, following your passions. I suspect it is not videos of childhood trauma. I certainly hope not, but how to deal with that sort of stuff. Following your passion. I'm a truth seeker. All the secrets of the universe, just the minor stuff. Yeah, you don't want to overload YouTube. You don't want to blow up the internet by downloading or uploading all the secrets of the universe in one go, Maxine. So well done. All the best to Carla. Ciao, ciao, Gilda. Vinha Verde, $14 plus tax. Can't believe that. And yeah, enjoy the wedding. Ciao, Gilda. All these wonderful greetings for Carla. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen, of course. It is the wedding rather than just the noitada. Hola, bom dia, campers. Darn it, I miss Gilda. I'm sorry you did. My dog smells. And we didn't even get to ask how little Mandela was, did we? Thank you for the answer, says Sabrine. But just to make sure that I got it right, come back next Monday. I'm so sorry. I'm a happy vegan. Best decision ever, says Truth of It All, Maxine. More vegan talk on Wednesday. Maybe you'd like to join us live on Wednesday with that. Carl, hey, I have a question for you directly. Will you be continuing your evening show? My question for you is this. I don't think I will. It may be the occasional special. Thank you for asking. Inquiring minds want to know. I enjoyed it personally. I enjoyed it personally as well. But I got to be careful with all of my output and not getting too worn out from doing too much. I need to, even Jack Nicholson has a day off, is what my children say to me from time to time. Okay. But yes, in a way, but not as a regular thing. Thank you for asking, Darren. And that is, I was going to say that's hilarious. It probably wasn't at the time, but what an accolade, or what a thing to be able to say. I never made it to my first anniversary twice. Didn't work out. Maybe different agendas, possibly. Do you want to say more on that, Della Burka? Blissful ignorance, a supreme willingness to settle. Grin. Sorry, I have to be snarky at 2:40 in the morning. What's that about, I wonder? Oh, I see. That's when you have a successful marriage of 34 years. Married 31, T-Duck. Yeah. You two are an inspiration. I'm always interested in how people manage to stay. So that's a really bad way of saying it, isn't it? But what's the secret of a long and successful marriage? Minister, and stop it, Darren, blissful ignorance and supreme willingness to settle, you rascal. How many are you two married? It's none of my business, but I wonder how long you two have been together and what your secret is, tech cowboy and cowgirl. Might be something to do with tech and being a cowboy and cowgirl, I suspect. Minister of Home Affairs and I are going to be married 30 years in February, going up for 35. You see, more success stories I want to hear about there. I'm lucky. I love my best friend. Well, you know, the theme that I'm getting here is that it's helpful to like the other person. Just saying. I race cars. Oh no, these are the dad jokes being repeated. Thank you for that. You came to my aid there, Tito. We'll be married 45 years in a couple of weeks. That's amazing. No secrets, actually. Just got lucky and married the right guy. There you go. It can be as simple as that. That's fantastic. And the Artemis rocket, I think Chris is saying, the ArcGIS Artemis, is that the same? Is some serious kit. Amazing for the moon mission. We're not having somebody on the moon, are we? Or are we? I don't think so. Why have we ever answered that question? Why has it taken so long to get back on the moon? Why has it? But BC Liquor Board is really good at dropping an additional tax on pricing. So yeah, Suze, yes, your $14 doesn't end there. British Columbia want to add. Well, they need the money. They need the money. They need to add a little bit more. What would it come to? What is the tax on liquor in British Columbia? What is Suze going to end up paying if she buys a $14 Canadian loony bottle of Vinho Verde? It's a big thing. Who doesn't like a big thing in the morning? Proving technology needs to work as NASA is proving SLS rocket and Orion capsule for Moon and Mars on these launches. So there you go. They were able to get up to the moon with what? A pocket calculator? No, they hadn't even invented the pocket calculator or the mobile phone. And they got someone on the moon. So what's the big deal? T-minus 317 now. So I don't mean to undermine the amazing work that obviously goes on with space exploration, but it does remain a mystery to me why we've waited so long to get somebody on the moon again. So Artemis is Apollo's sister, the ship namesake. Thank you, There's a few lunar nerds here this morning. Thank you for that. That pic is back from on your birthday, Carl. Set it as a profile pic yesterday. Oh, thank you. And so entertaining to hear Carlinhos speak American. I can do American. Porto, that's my favorite. And back to Artemis then, and away from the American accent, thankfully. I do quite a good Donald Trump, I have to say, but I'm not. No, it's okay. Relax, everybody. Trigger alert. I'm not going to do it. I was able to. I do a good Joe Biden as well. No, I did my Joe Biden. Sorry if that offended anybody. I was lucky to be able to attend many times in San Diego. When I went to Florida, I saw just coincidentally the Voyager taking off. Is it the Voyager? But the rocket launch. It was amazing. What good timing and good fortune was that? Carl, you should start a voiceover service, movie trailers, and aftershave. Aftershave's my specialty. Artemis, the mark of a man. I miss things I left behind, especially my theatrical light. I've got it, Suze. I have got the theatrical light. You will see it behind me here one of these days. So you'll be able to enjoy it in a vicarious sort of way. It's the least I could do. I have to get some sleep. Yeah, fair enough, Aviva. You've probably already gone. Let's look at the weather and the news. We'll come back to a few more of these because we have lovely pictures to share from near Caldas. Somebody was going to the Frutas, Festa de Frutas, which I think has been amazing in Caldas. I asked if anyone would send me some pictures on social media yesterday. Yes, said Jacqueline CDM. But actually, she got distracted along the way, I think. Darren's an almost everything nerd there, not offended by that remark whatsoever. Jacqueline CDM, on the way to Caldas, got stopped along the way by these folks here. Look at this. And I'll tell you more about this little village along the way. I'm sure I went out on a few dates with her back in the day. Other folks. Now, if you didn't take your specs with you and you drove through this town, you would think, oh my God, the zombie apocalypse has already happened. Should have gone to Specsavers. Put your glasses on while driving. This is a lovely little village on the way to, that's a good one, isn't it? On the way to Caldas, on the way to the Festa de Frutas, these lovely scarecrows. And I found out more about this online at the wonderful, esteemed Jornal das Caldas, which is a fantastic website, I've got to tell you. And I want to share the front page with you because there's a really good thing you should know about here. Let me just bring it up on the screen so you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that the scarecrows there are from the Festival Espantalhos Anima Valado de Santa Quiteria. So there you go. The Valado de Santa Quiteria, I beg your pardon, is the name of the village where you will see those. This is the front page. Actually, no, it's not the front page. It's the article page telling you all about that particular event in the calendar of Valado de Santa Quiteria. And that runs from July the 1st to the end of August. So only a few more days to see that. But look at this, folks. And isn't it lovely how Caldas de Rainha translates as Queen Syrup? Not only can you hear, and I was listening to Hit Me Baby One More Time, which I wouldn't hear ordinarily unless I press the play button. Can you hear that yet? Why can't we hear that at the moment? Okay, it's not playing at the moment, but I was able to play that Mais Oeste radio station from the homepage of Jornal das Caldas. And also, you can press play and hear the stories in Portuguese. This has got to be a good thing, isn't it, for those of us learning Portuguese?
Festival de Espantalhos Anima Valado de Santa Quitéria. O Espanta Festival está a decorrer desde 1 de julho até ao final de agosto no Valado de Santa Quitéria. A aldeia está decorada com mais de 3 dezenas de espantalhos, aumentando a população desta localidade da freguesia de Alfeizerão, numa iniciativa da Associação Recreativa e Desportiva Quiterense que anualmente tem vindo a desafiar os habitantes a enfeitarem as suas casas, pátios, átrios, entre...
Sorry, I was waiting for her to pause there, but she just doesn't. Okay, she doesn't even take a breath. I think it's a robot lady. Portuguese people, do you think that is a good resource for us? Is the robot doing Portuguese well? Better than us, better than many of us, you could say. Oh my goodness, it's 3 minutes past 10. I'm rabbiting away. Please do Trump. No, no. Excuse me. No, I'm not going to. Well, as it upsets people terribly, I've got to say. I won't mind if I already did my Biden, so it's only right that I did a little bit of both of them this morning for the sake of political balance. Okay, your last few comments. I won't go and do the weather because it's 4 minutes past 10. I got a coffee date with Mrs. M, part of our recipe for a successful marriage. I will put the Expats Portugal weather link into the chat for you. You can have a look for yourself. There are some very interesting headlines. Maybe we'll go into those tomorrow then on Consumer Tuesday. Yeah, that's probably the time to do it, isn't it? And I believe there's the link for the Expats Portugal weather if you want to have a look for the week ahead. So what I'll do is I'll just read a couple more of your comments and do some of the pictures and vids that I didn't get around to doing by way of leaving you in good shape for the rest of the day today. I do wish you a bon dia, but let's see what else is being said before we go. Before I got there, I thought Caldas de Rainha was my destination, but having been there, realized it was too big for me. San Martinho de Porto, Alcobaça, more my speed, or Ponta de Lima. Yes, great choices. I got to tell you there. Suze, thank you for being here at the ungodly hour. Spinster, a woman who spins, i.e. has a lot of time to make wool as she has no kids, says Darren. He's a nerd of everything. Also, associations with Clothor, one of the fates. What? Kirk and Gorn reference was referring to the pictures. Yes, but I know what the picture was, but I don't know who Kirk and Gorn were. Forgive me. Howard the Duck, not the first duck on a motorbike then, T-Duck. Howard the Duck was on a couple in the comics, including Ghost. Wow, you do know a lot about everything, Darren. That's amazing. Ciao, ciao, says Trevor, off to prepare for Seth. Good luck with that, Bossort, friends there. I think there is a bit of confusion on the kind of 3D mapping. I'm into projection onto the buildings with 3D visual graphics, more of an entertainment project. Okay, than some of the other kinds. Thank you for that. To Chris from Moaz, I don't think I should start a group myself since I haven't started the process yet and I know nothing about it, but I would like to join it. That's Moaz and Chris having a bit of a chat there, sharing a current country of residence in common, I think, possibly there. Yep, good luck, Trevor and Shannon from Connie. It's going to go smoothly there. Yeah, there's a nice affirmation. Christina from EI told me 25,000 to 30,000 euros in savings. I'm not there yet. Okay, fair enough. Not $250,000 though. 250K is great. But you also need income. If your savings is producing an income, that income counts. Thank you, James. Look at all these experts here. Sometimes less is more. Is that with the booze? I think, or is that the money that you need for the D7? Good Gumpers, start the week off right by fondling the like button. Who doesn't like a fondle? Certainly of the like button first thing in the morning. It's not even the first thing in the morning. It's 6 minutes past 10. It was about money. Moon rockets ready. Cost upkeep. Okay, not getting back to the moon again. Come on, they can find money for anything they really want to find money for, can't they? The US government. The Artemis rocket is not crude. It is also, it's not crude as in rudimentary, crude as in with a crew of people. It's also really old technology and stupid expensive. It's only money, America. Print some more. Got together with Tech Cowgirl well over 20 years ago. Artemis 3 will land people on the moon. The first woman on the moon will be on that mission, assuming Artemis 1. That's what confused me. When I heard a news report this morning, it was talking about the first woman on the moon. So we're working our way towards that. I got you. All right. If you love space, my friend has created videos on this, done it really well. YouTube Space is ace. I bet T-Duck's going right there to see that if he's not already a subscriber. Brilliant. Yes. Thanks for that. Just subscribed. No, not doing Trump again. Sounds like she's announcing the launch of Dr. Evil's space arc. Who is that? Was that the lady who was doing the news coverage and the news report this morning of Artemis 1? Okay. Slow, Carl. So fast. Okay, is that for Biden? Could be for both, couldn't it? The Trump thing was funny. You are good, Carl. Thank you. Excuse me, I do the best impersonations. And Kaldash is a synonym of termas. Okay, that's why it's syrup or not, as the case may be. The tradition says Caldas de Rainha is called that because the Queen Leonor liked to bathe in those healing waters. And who doesn't like a bath in a healing water in the morning, or at least to take a couple of charcoal tablets? Hi, says Bangla Camp this morning. Hello. And thank you. Yes, gardening show tonight, Deagle. Thank you very much for that. Bring your sunflowers, Deagle. Send pickies of where those are they on the way out now? Have they reached their peak, their maximum? Maybe they have, but yeah, always love to see pickies of your garden, Diggle. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here this morning at 8 minutes past 10. I thought it was going to be a brief show. Join me tomorrow when Bob Yonker is here, playing some of his music, his inspirational music. And by that, I mean it's inspiring, but he's also in an inspired space when he writes it. He receives that music. The muse visits, and he channels. I would say he channels the most beautiful music. You can hear some of that tomorrow. Looking forward to talking to Bob, and a vegan special on Wednesday. That's as far ahead as I can look right now, and I look forward to having your company again tomorrow morning on Consumer Tuesday when we talk to Bob. Take care. Bye for now. Have a great day. Bon dia. Adios.
Bom dia, Portugal. In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.